to make matters more interesting, zero trust is sometimes thrown around in all of this as as a way to think about how to set up your environment, how to set up your identities, right? But I have seen this time and again that for a lot of customers, it actually ends up becoming a headache, uh, right? Maybe because there is some confusion around how you want to go about it, how you want to apply it. So what's the correlation or linkage between zero trust, having a zero trust based program, and identity security, and how can that help CISOs and IAM managers make their life easier when it comes to thinking of these are the core principles I'm going to stick to and this is how I want to execute?
So you touched on a pretty good point, Ankush, and the question I will say, because zero trust as it is started in the industry and now, and for some time it even became a buzzword. I will say for pretty long period of time it became a buzzword where every other security product in the market was kind of saying, hey, we have the zero trust enabled product. And when in on the reality, when I was on both side of the house and consumer side of the house as well, and consuming and adopting these product, and on the ground they were not delivering the promises or the commitment those has been made by many products. But over the period of time, I think now we are reaching to some level where many of the products are showing some good result on the zero trust area.
Amit, I'll maybe interrupt there, and for the benefit of everybody, including both of us, why don't you define for us what the hell zero trust is
Yeah.
in this context, so that we know we are talking about the same definition?
Yeah. So in this nutshell, zero trust mean never trust, always verify, don't trust anyone in the organization in terms of their access. So that's how it comes down to your identity and access management. Because from the trust standpoint, you be it granting a physical access or be it granting a logical access or a product or a tool access, at the end it boils down to an access of a particular data, be it particular IT tool, be it a server room or be it an entry into a building. At the end it boils down to an access within the organization. So the concept is very simple in nutshell. Don't trust anyone. Basically, just verify. Yes, that does not mean that don't trust your employees, don't trust your contingent worker, but just verify whether they need particular access or not for a particular job. And the reason why it started coming along is because in legacy world, as a human, within any organization, when a person is working for, let's say, many years in an organization, they accumulate access over the period of time because they grow in the organization. They move within departments in the organization, and many times it's hard to get rid of those access because as a human, uh, they feel empowered with more access even though they are not utilizing it. It's like kind of collecting or an asset within the organization. People as a human, we built it. So that's where the zero trust concept came in. Grant only access which is required for a particular individual for a particular job, and then take it away basically. So in nutshell, for example, if a person has to deploy some production patches and deploy a code into a particular environment or a tool, they should be granted an access for that particular time frame. Once they have done their job, their access should be removed. The core reason for that is, if you look at, because it correlates to the passwords and over privileges, because in many breaches in the past, if we look at the data from different analysts like Gartner and others, it has been identified that over privilege of access is one of the key reasons for many hacks. And behind the scene, underlying reason is that the password leakage. Because most of the hacker, this is the easiest gateway or enter into this and any organization. Once you get an access to a password and with the password to a most privileged account, you are in basically, and that can be a big threat for an organization. And that's how many breaches has happened in many organizations. I've been part of in few of the breach remediation team in my past, and I have seen it firsthand. So that's why it's become very prominent these days that zero trust is being adopted by many organizations, and now it is very much correlated into an identity and access management space as well.
Yeah, and I'll just give maybe another example because that had really helped me understand this quite well in terms of the kind of over provisioning that you may have of access that you may not even see as access. VPN is a very good example. So traditional VPN has been you use a VPN client, and once you authenticate using a certificate or a password, you are on a particular subnet of the customers or your organization's environment. And typically, communication within the subnet itself was not heavily restricted, which means,
Yep.
in certain scenarios, VPN users could actually at least send network packets to each other, or they could poke around and go out. And of course, you would want a firewall to tightly control, where the traffic can go. But it just meant that if you have VPN access, you are on the subnet suddenly. While nobody asked for access to the subnet, what they asked access to was a particular application. Right? In those contexts, then using newer age zero trust private access solutions makes a lot more sense, because then those will not drop you into a subnet. Those will simply give you access directly to the application, without being able to look anywhere or go anywhere else. So those are good examples of you ask for this access and that's exactly what you got. And then, going by what you said, you time bound it and that makes it even better. So
Yeah.
sometimes we give additional access without even realizing that that is additional
Yeah.
access. Right? We just assume that, yeah, users will need to go through the network, so they will be able to do these things, but they should
Right.
not be able to.
So
Cool.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to add that one
yeah.
line on that so that people kind of resonate with it. Without a strong identity and access management, zero trust can't exist. I know it's a
Yeah.
very bold statement, but that's the fact, and that's the reality. All the other security products are adapting and accepting it, and now it is taking shape, which ideally should have taken shape a few
For
years
sure.
back as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. No, and I think it also talks about identity for everything. For example, for years in certain scenarios, we've gone ahead with NAC controls, for example. That's nothing but thinking in terms of identity for the device. So
Yeah.
you're trying to authenticate not just the users, but also the devices who have access to your crown jewels.